The prison guards are sleeping. It happens so frequently. Stop asking me questions about this. Please, halt your investigations. Cease your investigations, Joe. I thought we were fucking friends.
Healthy people on Earth, you would have a concerted effort that's unprecedented.
Sure.
You would have the resources that we couldn't even possibly comprehend.
Yeah, I even doubt that the fucking mobster actually killed himself, too. That was probably also a hit.
All pointing towards eliminating this one person that it could be done.
But, I mean, so many people have been implicated, right, already. And some of that information, what they did to Prince Andrew and everybody else is already out there. And so that's the conspiracy stuff that me and Bongino and the folks have to say, look, we will give you everything we can, and then we will have done our job. Also, if I had a shred, me, Kash Patel, had a shred of evidence, the Russiagate guy, the Jan 6 guy, the COVID origins guy.
Oh, dude, come on, Joe. You can trust me. I am the guy. You would trust me, right, Joe? Look at me. Look at how trustworthy I am.
Had a shred of evidence that this guy was murdered, I would be the first guy to bring this case hard and fast. And I would even doing press conferences every week on it. Mm-hmm. The first guy.
Okay, dude. Yo! Look into my eyes. You can see the white of my eyes, Joe. This is a sign of trustworthiness. Look at me.
That's what I'm asking people to play out to their logical conclusion.
If anything, it's respecting the fucking grammar of the name instead of anglicizing it. Yeah. Einstein. Epstein.
It's the people that were in power then. I mean, I get it that you want to hold me to account for their actions, and
No, I'm not saying
not you.
I'm not saying that.
Not you. Just the public in general, and that's okay.
What's confusing to everybody today, first of all, it's very confusing because AI can kind of make anything. You know, which has got to be a bizarre position for you to be in when you're looking at videos. I mean, I've watched Viking videos. It looked real as fuck, you know? They just make Viking towns. I mean, it's really quite incredible what they're doing now, and it accelerates every month. I mean, I talked to Elon about it, and he said we're blown away literally every week. Every week there's some new breakthrough. We're like, wow, we didn't expect that.
Well, I can tell you after having looked at it, this ain't going to be AI.
You don't think so?
You're going to it's just not.
Oh my God, it's definitely going to be AI. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, now I'm convinced. Before I was thinking, they'll just be like, we couldn't find the camera footage. Now, I guess the cameras weren't busted. And turns out it's 100% AI. It's going to be like Jeffrey Epstein being like, with that robotic AI voice, Jeffrey Epstein being like, I, Jeffrey Epstein, want to kill myself. I can't take it anymore. Also, I love Hillary Rodham Clinton and hate Donald Trump for being cool enough to cut ties with me. Being cool enough to cut ties with me even before he found out I was diddling children. And it's like he's got like fucking 8 fingers, you know? And they're like, this is not AI. Don't say this is AI. It's anti-Semitic to say this is AI. This has to be the Viking AI Joe saw. What? Look at his fingers. Going to England. This is kind of funny. Going to England. Oh. It's Danelaw now. This is so stupid. Oh, okay. Let's get
not great. You know, it's like if it were AI, like someone wanted to come in and make it, they'd make it better.
But why would you make it better when people could, you know, you could have ambiguous footage that is, totally generated by AI. I mean, AI can generate blurry images. AI can generate night vision. AI can generate essentially anything that's already existed, like really shitty 1984 VH.
Get Ready With Me to Pillage is actually a banger sketch idea. Quick pillage. We are going into the monastery. Look at how weak these English people are. It is time to sell them to slavery. I will bring one back to my wife, my shield maiden.
VHS tapes, they can do that.
They can. But I'm telling you, I'm giving you the tape from the tape. There's just like I'm giving you the documents from the vault, just like I'm giving you information to Congress on COVID origins or what have you. What we find is what you're getting.
Okay, so now
I like that these guys also were all super skeptical of government narratives. Even like the FBI under the Trump administration, they were like, oh, the FBI are enemies of ours, right? The enemies of the truth. But now that like it's other podcast guys that are in charge of the FBI, all of a sudden, everything's copacetic. All of a sudden, everything is airtight. You can trust the government narratives now because the guy telling you to trust the government narratives is just like you. The guy telling you, the guy from the government that's telling you that the government narratives are actually correct is a guy just like you. They put a podcast guy in there, and all the podcast guys that were like, I don't trust nothing from the government is now going, nah, this is actually cool. This is fine.
Now it's saying 2019, missing jail video from the first Jeffrey Epstein suicide. So for the first attempt has been found. So maybe, let's put it into perspective, jails are not the most efficient, best run places. Yeah. It's not like
Fort Knox.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's, yeah.
We're working with what we got.
Right.
So, and listen.
Joe, we gotta fund the police. These fucking pussies. They defunded the police, Joe. These fucking cowards, these libtards, Joe. We gotta fund them. That's what it is, Joe. That's the problem.
This guy's not the only guy to kill himself in prison. It happens, I don't know how often.
Right.
All the time.
Actually, the facility that they're talking about had a very, very low rate, at least that year. I think they might not have had a single other suicide, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. I remember reading something about it, but it was so long ago I can't remember. Also, yeah, people do get murked all the time. Suicide, on the other hand, is not that, at least in that specific facility, was not so common. But we're also talking about like an incredibly high profile individual. Get the fuck out of here. Thought it was that no other suicides in that shoe for 20 years. Are you seriously telling me that this guy runs the FBI? I am from the UK. Lad, you don't even know the fucking half of it. You're just looking at him as an unserious person on the Joe Rogan Experience. Wait till you find out more about his fucking background. He is a child books author. That's his like previous shit that he was famous for. A children's book that he wrote about Donald Trump being like a wizard or something, or taking down the wizard that is the Democratic Party. What is this?
I was not let go as the director of alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives. I decided to leave so that I could focus on the power grid. The little green men are coming in to prepare for it. I was in the National Security Division at the time. I was doing the discovery from Benghazi. We found her freaking email. They took that investigation away from us and it became the Clinton.
What the fuck is this?
Even if he killed himself in prison. So if he was murdered in prison, crazy, right?
Yeah.
You could see why very powerful people wouldn't want him
If he was
talking.
murdered in segregated housing, in isolation, after being on suicide watch in a place in a detention center that I've physically been in myself, it would be fiction. It's just in my experience, that is not doable.
It's not doable even for the most powerful and
No.
wealthiest people in the world.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think though that like if someone was in a position where a guy could release information that could potentially
Prior to Jeffrey Epstein's death in August 2019, suicides at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in New York were exceedingly rare. The last recorded suicide at the facility occurred 21 years earlier in 1998 when Philadelphia mobster Louis Tura hanged himself in a cell. First suicide in 21 years at the MCC, the facility that Jeffrey Epstein was in. It happens all the time, Joe. All the time. Last time it happened was 21 years ago, Joe. All the fucking time. Think about how common that is.
damage the most wealth.
Also, cameras fucking turn off all the time at the time of the suicide. Okay? Cameras always turn off at the time of the suicide. Well,
Not just Joseph Stalin, who's making a comeback. So, would you believe, is the USSR. I'll explain how a little bit.
oh, these guys suck so bad. Yeah, totally. I fucking wish, dude. I wish. What the fuck do you mean the USSR is making a comeback?
Later. But I mean, the Soviet Union, it's long gone, right? It fell apart more than 30 years ago. There's even a museum dedicated to it here in the center of Moscow. I've just been to take a look.